What if I told you a single ounce of metal could reshape the world? That tens of thousands would risk everything, cross oceans, abandon families, gamble futures, for the shimmer of possibility. This is Timeline's Unravelled, and today we're diving into the true story of the California gold rush. Not just the Wild West fantasy of gold pans and saloons, but the global shockwave it set off. From booming cities to broken treaties, economic surges to cultural collisions, this was more than a treasure hunt. It was a turning point. Let's unravel the rush. It began with a man named James Marshall. On January 24, 1848, while overseeing construction at Sutter's mill in Coloma, California, then still a Mexican territory newly claimed by the United States, Marshall noticed something glittering in the water. It was gold. Word spread fast. By March, whispers of discovery made their way to San Francisco. By summer, half the city's male population had vanished into the hills. Newspapers confirmed it, and when President James K. Polk himself mentioned the find in December 1848, the rush became a frenzy. In 1849, they came in waves. Over 80,000 people, known as the 49ers, flooded into California by land and sea. They came from the US, but also from Chile, Peru, China, Australia, Germany, and France. California, overnight, became one of the most diverse places on Earth. But gold wasn't lying in open veins. It took work, back-breaking, all-consuming work. Rivers were panned, hills were blasted, and with the miners came merchants, gamblers, innkeepers, and opportunists. Few found fortunes in gold. Many found it in selling to those who tried. One man, Levi Strauss, arrived to sell tough canvas pants. Another, Samuel Brannan, bought every pickaxe and pan in San Francisco, then walked the streets yelling, "Gold! Gold at Sutter's mill." Just after cornering the market. These weren't just fortune seekers. They were the builders of a new world. But what did that world look like? Boomtowns erupted, chaotic, lawless, and fast-growing. San Francisco ballooned from 1,000 people in 1848 to over 25,000 by 1850. Shanty towns sprawled beside saloons and gambling halls. Justice was often vigilante, wealth was uneven, and tension was everywhere. And the cost wasn't just environmental or economic. It was human. California had been home to over 300,000 Native Americans before the rush. Within 2 decades, more than 80% were gone, victims of violence, disease, starvation, and forced removals. Gold Rush-era policies encouraged settler expansion, often funded by bounties on native lives. The state reimbursed militias for what they called Indian hunting campaigns. It was, by any name, a genocide. Meanwhile, Chinese immigrants, many arriving as early as 1849, faced intense discrimination. They were taxed unfairly, denied citizenship, and targeted by mobs. But still they came, hoping to send money home, build a life, or simply survive. They labored not just in mines but on railroads, farms, and in growing towns. And still, the gold kept flowing. From 1848 to 1855, an estimated 750,000 pounds of gold were extracted from California's rivers and hills, worth billions today. This influx changed not just the region, but the world. The US economy surged. Banks grew, railroads expanded, New York became a financial center, and California, barely settled, barely governed, was granted statehood in 1850, leapfrogging the usual territorial process. But the impact wasn't confined to America. In China, economic hardship and war had already pushed many to leave. The gold rush accelerated this movement, opening the door to future waves of immigration. In Australia, when news of California's gold spread, prospectors searched their own soil, and found gold in New South Wales in 1851, kicking off a rush of their own. The idea of sudden, individual wealth, a person striking it rich, went global. It reshaped economies, created migration patterns, and helped cement capitalism's modern myth, that anyone, with luck and grit, could become rich overnight. But as with all myths, reality was more complicated. By the mid-1850s, surface gold had mostly dried up. Large corporations took over with industrial equipment and wage laborers. Independent miners either left, went broke, or found other work. The dream of instant wealth faded, replaced by the grind of industry and exploitation. What was left? An economy transformed, a state born in a rush, a population that would shape the American West for generations. and a deep, enduring wound for indigenous peoples and marginalized immigrants. And maybe something else, too, a legacy of extremes, of ambition and destruction, of promise and peril. The gold rush wasn't just about metal. It was about belief, in progress, in fortune, in the idea that tomorrow could be wildly better than today. That belief built cities, and shattered lives, but it never quite went away. So next time you hear about a gold rush, whether it's crypto, startups, or a viral trend, remember this: the hunger for wealth is never just about money. It's about what we're willing to do, and who we're willing to forget, in the pursuit of it. Thanks for watching Timelines Unraveled. If this look at the global shockwaves of the California gold rush fascinated you, give the video a like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next story that changed the world. Because history isn't just buried in the past, it's hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered.